Okay, today is March 22nd, 2021. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. We'll go down our usual agenda, starting with our release statuses. I think 119, we still have to figure out the CSI proxy image promotion process. I will go and ping Jing on this to see where the status is. Moving on to 121, we have test freeze that is this week. And I believe, where are the dates? Test freeze is on Wednesday. And then about a week later, docs have to be complete. So let's double check where we are. First is this performance E2E test. I think I made some minor comments just about how we want to tag these tests to run. It doesn't look like Monica's had a chance to look at it. Xing, would you be able to check up on this?
Yeah, so you are just basically waiting for him to address your comments?
Yeah, I think, just add the slow tag back. And then I think the other comment I had was about there's a setting to run 300 pods. And I think that setting's not going to work if you use delayed binding for the test. So
Okay.
I think that might need some adjustment. Like we might have to set the number of pods lower to like 80 or something like that.
Okay. Okay, I'll check with him.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next is CSI migration. Jawway's not here, but I think the main things is there's a couple of potential bug fixes in the sidecars that are pending, and I think that's it. I think all the entry stuff should be complete. So I think
Yeah,
we're
sorry.
looking in decent. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. Yeah, for this CSI migration, the issue that the first issue volume provisioned, this one, we had two peers. The one that goes into external attacher is merged. There is another one that will still have some concerns, and we're in discussion with that. We're still in discussion.
Okay.
The second, and also for the topology one, we got Azure, still waiting for Azure. This person, like she submitted, she created this PR, and she updated this PR like this weekend. So I'm still like looking at them, and I have some comments. So
okay,
yeah, other than that,
sounds
it's all good.
And in terms of like the changes in Kubernetes, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get that in by code freeze, but we can get it into 122 and then backport it to 121 as bug fixes in future patch releases.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Oh, I just want to confirm that's it for like any pending changes in the sidecars and in Kubernetes.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Next is snapshots.
I think Grant said he is trying to resolve some of the test failures on his matrix E2 test PR. I think that's it.
Okay,
I'm trying to get this one merged by the test merge deadline.
Sounds good. Thank you. Next we have generic ephemeral volumes. Is Patrick here?
He said he has
Nope.
a conflict he can't. Is it?
Okay.
Yeah, he said he can't. There was a few PRs that I reviewed. It's about testing for those
Okay.
PRs. So I don't know if he has any
I
other
think,
PRs.
okay. I had some updates on the docs. It looks like he updated it, so I'll take another look at his docs for this. I think docs was the main thing that was pending for this. Okay.
Is the merge, is the 31st, is that the doc merge deadline or just?
Yes,
Okay.
docs merged. Yep. All right. And then I think storage capacity, he has a number of PRs in the external provisioner. I guess,
Yeah.
Chang, have you been able to start reviewing them?
Yeah, still on the additional metrics PR. We had a sync on Thursday to talk about the implementation details a little more and the overall design. So that was pretty helpful. So
Okay.
prioritizing that.
Awesome. Great, thank you. All right, next we have volume populators.
For 121 still.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
so-
we're not technically tracking this for 121 anymore, but
Well, the
we can
activity
still
for,
track it.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm messing with my headset. Yeah, the activity for 121 remains just getting the repos created and doing like an alpha release out of those repos, which can be out of sync with everything else, I think. And then of course we'll retry again for beta in 122. So I haven't sent in the repo request. I have it actually open in my editor since last weekend, and I just haven't finished filling it out. But yeah, I need to make the repo requests and then start putting the code in.
All right.
So that's all on me.
Sounds good. Cool. Thank you. Next up is FS group.
Yeah, so this item did not make in this in 121 because of the CSI change not getting merged. I think and then we have to get feedback from James. I talked to James offline a little bit, and he said he wanted to think about the error conditions more, but that's
Okay.
about it actually.
Can we try to get this resolved so that, you know, we don't miss the deadline again next release?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to. Basically, he has to comment or like exactly what he just said. He needs to think about it, but
Okay.
that's a bit vague. So
Was he able to give some sort of like timeline of when he can get back to us?
no, but that's a good point. I'll ask him.
Yeah, it would be good if like we could resolve this in the next 2 weeks or so that we're in good shape for the next release.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna move this to our backlog if I can drag it. Let's move this. All right, volume expansion.
We had one PR that was merged. I LGTM the similar PR for CSI external resizer actually, and for the PVC being deleted. Although we discussed that this does solve the if every driver implemented that expand the file system on mount, then this will be less of an issue except for entry drivers. And the annotation is alpha, so we could revert it, we could roll it back. But I think there's also needs to release note or something has to go out to the committee that every driver needs to basically resize the file system on mount or at least
Okay.
inspect and mount. So
Do you want to send or craft an announcement to the CSI drivers mailing list?
I have talked to Jan. Also, we have to update the sanity test. So just to be clear, this is because of Snapshot.
Mm,
So
okay.
it's like if that. So are we going to like? Huh. There's a possibility that the driver does not implement Snapshot but implements expansion, of course. And in that case, the driver may not want to check the file system size on mount. So
Can it also happen on clone? Is it just that snapshot?
when you clone a volume to the source, I don't know. I'll have to check. Don't know top of my head.
Okay. All right. So I guess if I understand correctly, the first step is to add a test to CSI test, and then we can send out the announcement.
Yeah, but now that I'm thinking that there could be drivers out there that don't implement Snapshot, for which we added a wording in CSI to check the file system size and everything. But so those drivers, we cannot rely on basically that support like a driver will always resize the file system on mount. There's no wording in CSI anywhere that says that except the wording that we added for Snapshot.
But what about volume clones?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
hey.
double check. Did we not add it for volume clone? Because I think the issue here that Jan opened was talking about both cloned and snapshot volumes.
The clone is also optional capability, right?
Right, but the wording in create volume has always been clear that if it succeeds and there was a source of something, that it better be and the size is not the same as the source, it better be the new size.
Right. So question I have is like, can we, so that is one part of like volume provisioning thing that if you are supporting that, and then there are plugins that may not even support provisioning actually. So can we universally expect that all the drivers will check the volume, the file system size on mount, so that we don't have, so this, we just merged the PR in Kubernetes, that what it implements is it stores the PVC size, the last known size in PV as annotation when the PV is being expanded, so that if the PVC is deleted while this operation was pending and you know like new PVC comes and binds to the same PV, the file system expansion still happens. So that's the fix we made. Now the Jan like was talking to Michelle offline, and this problem could be partially resolved by, you know, like if every volume plugin expanded the file system on mount, which some of them will do after Jan's check, like so the question becomes, can we universally rely on that behavior for all CSI drivers? But it seems like we cannot.
Well, if the volume came into being through the result of a create volume call, and the actual file system size was less than the size passed into create volume, then the spec is unambiguous that you have to fix it, which means you do have to resize it on mount. If the volume came into being through some other way other than create volume, then I think all bets are off, because we don't make a statement about the size of those volumes, right? You only talk about size at create time. Once it's created, nothing else knows about the size, well, and resize.
Yeah.
So if it's just a volume that was created through some other mechanism and you're just attaching to it, I don't think you can make statements about the size.
Yeah. So I think the release note has to go in the anyway. Has to go anyway because we made this CSI spec change, and I don't think every CSI driver author is aware of it. So that is one thing. But
I really think COs have to be able to depend on this functionality. If there's a situation where like it's not the case, we should figure out a way to fix it, because the intent was always clear that when you create things, they get bigger, and the CO should be able to depend on that, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that is fine for the volume that were created from snapshot and larger than that's okay. But as a general expansion workflow, like from volume expansion workflow, like regardless of the snapshot thing, like can we depend on that feature that it will fix the file system size on node publish or node stage always? We cannot, right? Because like for example, vSphere CSI driver does not have a snapshot right now. So if the PVC is deleted while the node side expansion was pending and PVC binds to the same PV, then no file system expansion happens. So that's the bug.
I'm sorry, but how is this related to snapshot? I'm lost.
It's related to snapshot because the snapshot change says that when you mount the volume, like user node stage or node publish, then the wording says it is storage provider's responsibility to ensure that the file system is of the size that user requested. So if the 10 GB snapshot was there and user created 20 GB snapshot, then the file system size on node publish or node stage should be 20 GB. This implicitly means that on node stage or node publish, the storage provider must introspect the file system size of the volume actually on each mount or each node stage and node publish, and introspect that and see, oh, it is smaller and it should expand the file system. So this snapshot thing indirectly affects this volume expansion because in this the volume. So like if vSphere drive.
Are you talking about you initiate a volume expansion and before it completes you take a snapshot of like a half expanded volume? Is that what we're talking about?
No. We are talking about like you expanded a volume and before the volume could be like it's the driver only supports offline expansion. Let's say the expansion was pending on the node.
Yeah.
And you deleted the PVC. Now the PVC, the reclaim policy was retained. You created another PVC bounded to the same PV. But when the binding happens, the PV spec was the expanded size. But when the binding happens, the PVC status and spec both get the PVC size. So nobody knows that at this point the status, the state that the file system on the volume needs expansion, that information is lost.
So that part I understand. Okay, I believe that's the bug that I opened, but then I don't understand when does snapshot come into the picture? This driver doesn't support snapshot, then how is that even related? I'm confused.
I think I agree, and I think the answer is that if you support expand, this is a weird corner case that you just have to deal with, where if you've half expanded the volume and you haven't finished, and then you somehow end up getting another one of those volumes that where it is in a half expanded state, you just complete the expansion. And it's really easy to do. I mean, I can't see anyone objecting to this. It's just, I can see there being bugs where people don't currently do this and they need to fix their drivers, where our driver is probably one of them. I mean, I'm not pointing fingers because it's an easy mistake to make, but I think our stance has to be that, like, if you've expanded the block part and not the file system part, and you're in the process of doing a node publish, now is the right time to do, expand that file system too to match the block volume, because there's no reasonable situation where you would want the file system to be smaller than the block device.
Haman, is this you already have some fix that fixed this?
Yeah. This fix was merged in Kubernetes actually in 1.21, and we are in process of merging it in external resizer for CSI. So the driver doesn't have to do anything, but like what Ben is saying, the driver could fix it, but obviously it requires a CSI spec change as well in this case. Like
I don't even think so. I think that, like, if you implement resize through any of the three mechanisms, either cloning a volume to a bigger size, cloning a snapshot to a bigger size, or directly resizing a volume, in any of those three cases, you have to deal with this weird corner case of, the file system is the wrong size and it has to get fixed. And the right way to do that is just to do it at node publish time.
But the wording in the CSI spec does not make it clear.
Well, it's hard to make it clear. I don't dispute that, but after having gone around in circles over and over on this, I think it's clear, and I think we can make the wording progressively more clear if people are still not understanding it. There has to be a way to just explain that the file system size should grow to the size of the containing block device if your driver is one of those that has a file system inside of a block device, because there's just no points in the workflow to do this other than at this, at node publish time. It's the only chance you get.
Would it make sense to sort of take this paragraph here that Jan added and also put it in node publish?
Where did he add his paragraph? I'm not looking at the
This
screen
was
right now.
in create volume.
Yeah, I mean, or I could see having like a whole little subsection in the spec somewhere with pointers to it from all the places where it's relevant to say, general notes on volume resizing, and then explain all of this in excruciating detail in that section, and then refer to it from all of the relevant places.
The node publish and node state does not have size also fields. So
Did
if
we
you-
not?
Right. But I mean, what we would say is that there's an implicit size that comes from, the last time it was created. And if your driver is of the sort where you have a file system on a block device and the block device has been expanded and the file system hasn't, you just fix that. And the appropriate time to do is either node stage if you implement that, or node publish. And, and then it becomes an implementation detail exactly how you do it. But the expectation is clear that no one's going to help you get your file system resized if you don't do it yourself in the CSI plugin.
well, he's already kind of immersed the Kubernetes PR, so it will get fixed.
Well, just for that case, right?
Yeah.
That's the only case where you like delete the PV object in the middle of a resize.
Delete the PVC object, in the middle of the resize.
But I think we're just saying in general, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I think it might be worth, taking this and also having this also in the resize or the node publish documentation too. Like if we're really concerned, we can send out an email to the CSI announce mailing list. I mean, I guess like, I guess we should double check, like, do we send new spec releases to the announce list? Because like that would definitely have all the diffs of what's new in the spec. Right? Kind of like
release notes, right? Release notes.
Yeah, release notes
actually.
Mm-hmm.
This is I think this PR is in the release note. If people read it, so it's there.
Yeah, but I mean, we can we can have the release notes. We can also send the release notes to the announce list or something like that. I think that all makes sense to me.
But we have to get to the point where we have an unambiguous stance on what drivers are supposed to do here.
I think that's a call for maybe a CSI community. I think we can talk about this a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Maybe this isn't the right meeting to have that discussion, but like when vendors come to us and they're like, "What am I supposed to do?" I'd like to have a place to point like, "This is what you're supposed to do. Read this paragraph."
Yeah, I think we are talking about like the snapshot clone and general expansion, all the three flows converge to one. I think that makes sense, but yeah, we need to talk about this in the I need to think more because
All right, cool, thank you. That's it regarding all these things around expansion.
Yeah, for now, but in 121 I am going to work on recovery from resize and the other one, so I'll start looking into that.
All right,
So,
sounds good, thank you. Next we have volume health.
Yeah, so I have a doc PR. I should add this here. Can you review for me? Because I think it's supposed to be reviewed by the 24th. There was another date. They have several
okay.
dates for, since I just updated,
sure.
it has 0 reviews right now. So let me actually I'll pin you. I'll put that on your Slack.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. All right. So I think that's everything we're tracking for 121. Going back to the agenda, I think so. So last week, Chris joined to just plug a couple of things he was working on. First is an access mode KEP. So this kind of came out from one of our CSI discussions a couple weeks ago where we said access modes was really confusing. And so Chris is taking a look at trying to address at least one use case that's currently not expressible in Kubernetes and CSI. So he has a KEP here. If you're interested in it, please take a look. I think we're going to, right now it's provisional, and I think Chris said he wants to kind of have like multiple PRs to add like each section and one at a time. So I think we'll, probably this week we'll try to merge whatever he has so that he can open the next couple of sections. And then the last topic is minor version support for older majors. So I think this came up recently because we wanted to, there was a new 4.0 major version for the Snapshotter, and we wanted to get some of the metrics work into the V3 major version train, but we don't actually have a policy in terms of how we want to support older major versions. So Chris opened up an issue. If you're interested, please hop on to the issue and we can kind of discuss what would seem like a good policy for us to support. I thought about it a little bit, and my thinking is we might want to. We actually recently added this overlap policy for patch releases where we're saying, for minor releases that's saying we're going to support a minor release branch for at least 3 months after the next minor release branch is released. That way we give like this overlapping time period where the older patch is still supported. I am thinking we might want to have a similar overlap policy for major releases to say that we should support the two most recent major versions for at least 3 months. So that's my current thought on it. If anyone has any thoughts, let's discuss here, and probably by end of this week, I'm hoping we can conclude on this. All right. Any other topics? Cool. Then we'll end for today. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.